how are you all? I hope you're doing well. So, this story about the teacher, I'm going to tell you about the teachers union, what they're up to as far as CRT. I have this weird tweet from a teacher too that I want to read you, and then I have actually a very, very cool video of another parent at a school board, and I think he put what I have been thinking, and probably a lot of you, he put it so eloquently, his argument against critical race theory in school. So first of all, this argument that critical race theory is not being taught in K through 12 schools, well, we're about to put that argument to rest, because here in the New York Post, the largest U.S. teachers union vows to fight back against CRT critics. CRT, if you just want a short definition, by the way, it basically teaches you that America is inherently bad. It teaches kids to identify through the filter of their race. It teaches you that if you are one race, you are an oppressor, and if you are the other one, you are oppressed, which both of those beliefs are damaging across the board, just damaging in different ways. So it's something that, in my opinion, is not in the best interest of making a healthy, educated adult. It seems to serve the teachers more than it does the parents. You've had teachers openly say that they want their kids to be activists, and in my opinion, you should not be teaching a child political activism. It's a stressful thing. You know, politics is stressful. It takes a healthy adult mind to be able to understand that and not have that stress affect you in your life. And a kid should not be burdened with that, in my opinion. But that's just me. So it says, the largest educators union in the country has vowed to fight back against those who oppose teaching critical race theory. The National Education Association, which boasts 2.3 million members, recently passed a resolution claiming it is reasonable and appropriate to include CRT in curriculum, and pledged to create a team of staffers to help teachers fight back against CRT. To boost this effort, the NEA will work to publicize an already created in-depth study that critiques white supremacy, anti-blackness, anti-indigeneity, racism, patriarchy, capitalism, and all forms of power and oppression. We oppose attempts to ban critical race theory and the 1619 Project. CRT asserts that racism is not just about individual bias, but systemic in society, government policies, and institutions, including the legal system. The 1619 Project refers to efforts to focus on when the first African slave arrived in America. Okay, so that's my problem. You already have, where I went to school, I went to public school in Georgia, and one of the arguments for CRT is that history teachers don't teach about slavery and the civil rights movement and Jim Crow. I had a very good education on all of those things when I grew up going to school, so I'm confused as to where that comes from. And this was quite disturbing too. So this is a teacher that posted this on his personal Instagram account. James Lindsay found it and retweeted it. And this is sort of the mentality behind some of these teachers, which is disturbing to say the least. I'm going on record now. At the end of the day, it's just my students and me in our classroom, and we will be discussing race, class, and gender in my history classes, regardless of what the laws and policies people want to pass. CRT is a component of everything I do. He goes on to say, common ground doesn't mean meeting in the middle. The only common ground that exists is what exists in leftist beliefs. Because conservative common ground leaves out people who are poor, BIPOC, queer, and with disabilities. But our common ground includes the liberation for all. And we do so from the ground up. Take over school boards, city councils, county commissions. So this is kind of the type of mentality behind some of these teachers that are pushing this. You can see this is clearly self-serving and is not within the best interest of the kids. And man, I am not a parent, but I actually retweeted this out and I said, do teachers need body cams now? Like, if that's not an argument for cameras in the classroom, And even recently, too, we saw these teachers who were nervous about, during the whole pandemic, a lot of kids were doing class over Zoom calls. So parents were having more insight into what the teachers were actually teaching. And I think that's how some of this came to such a surface. And teachers were even saying we're worried that parents are going to know what we're teaching their kids. You had a viral video that went out with a teacher basically saying that. Maybe in not those exact words, but that's basically what was being said, which again is disturbing. You are supposed to be teaching kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. Is not your position to be teaching them about gender identity or their sexual orientation, which are some of the things which are being taught along with CRT. Anyway, I want to show you this video, and I know it seems like this seems really creepy and insidious, and it is, but I will say that more and more parents are waking up to this, and more parents are fighting back, and you're seeing it in Loudoun County, you're seeing it all over, and this father just had such an amazing, he articulated this so well, and I want you to listen to him. I'm going to play the full clip, so here it is.
And the school district is failing. More importantly, I came here to talk about critical race theory. This theory was never meant to be brought into grade schools, high schools, at all. It's actually taught in the collegiate atmosphere, and more importantly, the legal portion of the collegiate atmosphere, to see different laws through the lens of race, from an ethics and an ethical standpoint, right? Not for grade schools and high schoolers. The problem with bringing it to high school and grade school level is that we don't have the educators to properly teach these kids. Instead, they're using it as their own agenda to indoctrinate the kids to hate each other. And whether you believe that to be true or not, the reality is that's what's happening. Critical race theory is teaching that white people are bad. That's not true. That would teach my daughter that her mother is evil. You already have an educator within your staff that has pulled my daughter aside and said, well, you're a minority, so you know better than to engage in certain things.
Wow. Whoa.
When I was brought to the school's attention, nothing happened to the educator. Instead, my daughter was brought in, and she was ridiculed. So my question is now, with critical race theory being brought in, what is your criteria to educate the educators? And who are you to educate my children, or any of our children, in life issues? That's our job.
Yes.
Your job is to teach them math and science. Our job is to teach them about life. I believe racial issues and tensions across the U.S. are nowhere near what they used to be decades ago. Do we have a long way to go? Sure. Do we still have individuals out there that need to be taught? Absolutely. But I believe the people here don't look at me as a black man. They look at me as a man standing in front of you addressing an issue that we all are very passionate about.
That's right. That's right.
I hope you love that too. I absolutely just love how he put everything and what he said, and that's exactly, minus my own child, but that is exactly how I feel about all of it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you later. Bye.